I didn't know if I was gonna ever make this video in my lifetime or ever on YouTube. This is not like a sympathy video. This is not a video for you to feel sorry for me, but it's a video for you to learn about me, the guy behind Soupy. And yeah, as you read the title, that is 100% true. Yeah, I was in foster care. So let me just tell you the inception of it. As an adolescent, I felt life was normal. You know, I was around all my siblings, which includes my little sister, my twin sister, my other old siblings. And I was around my grandmother and grandpa. Like, life seemed normal. But there was one thing that I just never understood, but it felt normal to me. And it was my mom or my dad was never there. At a young age, they told me my dad was on vacation, which I now know means that he was in prison. Furthermore, they used to always tell me, your mom will be back, which was my mom was out and about doing what she did. But even with that being in mind as a kid, I always felt that everything that was going on was normal. Like, I went to school, I played with the kids. Even though I was a little bit poorer than everyone, you know, we shopped at Payless, and I feel like that was the best place to shop. You know what I mean? I feel like everything at Payless was nice. The Shaq Dunks, it was cool. Everybody in this class was wearing, you know, what they wore, but that's besides the point. So as a kid, I never understood that I was in a very bad position. I never knew that my grandmother was sick. So the person that was taking care of me primarily around the time as an adolescent was my grandmother and grandpa. At the age of 7, my grandpa dies, and that was literally 2 months before I turned 8. And around that time, my grandmother was getting sick. My grandmother was sick due to her legs. She fell down the stairs and broke her legs. And I know it sounds crazy already, but growing up, I was going through a lot. So my grandmother got sick. So around my grandmother getting sick, my mom began coming back. So I was like, oh, my mom is back. She began taking care of my grandmother, and it was just my twin at the time and my little sister. And we stayed in the house with my grandmother, and my mom would go back and forth of leaving and coming back. But then one day, my mother vanished again, like the Avatar. You know what I mean? Like, she just vanished. I didn't understand why. I didn't know what was going on. And it was a very bad time of her vanishing. Let me tell you that. It was a very bad time because my grandmother got very, very, very sick. Like, she got way sick. And it got so bad that she was picked up by an ambulance and took into the hospital. And you're wondering, so who took care of you around this time? It was literally me, my twin sister, and my younger sister. Cool, right? You know, it was a week, and then the police picked my twin and my little sister and I, and we was at the police station. Going to the police station, there was basically no option for us to go. Around this time, I was actually 10. So going to the police station, we was confused. We didn't know if me and my twin and my little sister was going to go to foster care around that time. But prayerfully, and I'm very gracious that this happened, my cousin actually we actually contacted my cousin. Her name is Chrissy. And Chrissy actually picked us up, and we stayed with her for a few months. I think for the rest of my semester. Meanwhile, with this going on and my mother not being in the home and my grandmother going to the hospital and us being alone, we weren't going to school at this time. So we was falling behind with school. But as soon as I got picked up with my cousin, we started going back to school. Everything seemed fine. And then unknown relative at the time came and they said, you know what? I can take those 3 kids off your hands and I'll let them live with us. And that was my aunt on my dad's side, which is pretty ironic because, I mean, I spoke with my dad's side a lot, but I really did not have a connection with my dad at all. So I was really connected with my dad's side, but not with my dad. You know what I mean? So I began staying with my aunt all the way up to I was 13, and around 13, my twin sister had left my aunt's house, and it was just me and my younger sister. And one day, I just felt like I wanted to be with my mom because I personally did not understand why my mom was gone. So I went back to my mom's house, and soon I realized why it was not a fit, like why my mom was not fit to take care of us. When I went back to my mom's house, I got into crime. I broke into homes with my older brother. And one day I got arrested, and from there I was in juvenile. After being convicted and everything, while I was in juvenile, my aunt said at the moment I was a little bit too wild and crazy, so that's my inception to foster care. So I know a lot of people are going to be asking, was foster care horrible? Was it bad? Did you learn anything from it? You know what? Being in foster care, I learned a lot. So at first it was not hard because I had the juvenile mindset. It was like wired in me because there's so many people in my family that's been in prison in and out for generations. So as soon as I came into the foster care, and I was actually in the residential with a lot of other kids that were in foster care with worse situations than I, parents passed away. My parents were just not there. I just learned a lot of things. So I was in foster care. Well, I was in this residential, then I switched to another residential, which was a lot more freedom. And every time I switched residential or homes, I learned something. 16, I became emancipated, which means that I was basically a guardian of myself and under a company. And from there, I just was doing very well, What I learned mostly out of everything that I went through in foster care, I would say that I learned how to listen and to understand where I came from. I come from a very sad place in the sense of a lot of people that went through what I went through right now, they're currently probably in some type of shenanigans. I tried to make the best situation of it. I've always had a vision of being successful. Within my siblings, I was the first one to go to college. I was the first one to start my own business. And I was just basically the first one to just look past the trauma that we faced as a kid. And that is still right now trickling down to my other siblings. And I am the youngest, besides my younger sibling, out of 6. So on my dad's side, I'm the youngest. On my mom's side, I am the second to youngest. And everyone respects the position I'm in because they know a lot about what we've been through. There's a lot of details that I left out, but with you knowing the fact that what I've already brought up, you will see that it can be a very traumatizing thing to not have either one of your parents. You know what I mean? Like, imagine your dad goes to the grocery store for the milk and he don't come back, but just imagine that times 2 where your mom says, oh, I'm gonna go with him, and they both never come back. Currently, I'm in college. I'm close to getting my degree in aerospace engineering. I own a filming / photography company, which I started this January. Got my LLC for it. Still working on my EIN. That's gonna come sooner or later. And I just want to tell everyone. And also let me just tell my age. Also, I'm 20 years old. So I wanted to basically make this video so that you guys know what I've been through a little bit, just to know who Dre Soupy is outside of Dre Soupy. And for those who were in foster care, everybody's experience is different, you know what I mean? I just try to make the best of it. You know, those people that I met that were tremendous and I still contact today, they made a big mark onto who I am today. And there's some people that, you know, you just leave them in the past and just forget about it. But in my situation, I feel like I made the best of it. I feel like it was a crazy roller coaster, but somehow I made it out on the safe end, and I'm thriving and I'm looking forward to the future. With the aunt and uncle earlier that I mentioned, I left their home. I'm still very tight with them. I still look at my Uncle Robert as my father figure. That was the only man, besides my other uncle, Uncle Jamie, that was the only two males that I can consider as a father figure, where they took me as their own child and taught me how to be a man. My aunt, you know, she's been the mother figure for me, even though we've bumped heads over the years. And I'm going to see them, actually, you know, I announced on my YouTube channel I'm going to LA. I'm actually going to see them this weekend. But my foster care experience was you know, I just try to make the best of it. And I am proud to say that I made it out of foster care with the right intentions in life and thriving and motivated to be the best that I can be, you know? So, yeah, I was in foster care. I made it. And if you was in foster care, go ahead and tell me in the comment section and let me know how everything turned out for you at the end. And like I said, you know, it's always, you know, I guess another message that I want to bring out of this is never judge a book by its cover. I'm 20 years old. People probably see that I got all this equipment and everything I had to work for. I never had a mom or a dad, so nothing was handed to me. Nothing was just, oh, here you go, bro. Nobody really gave me the directions on life. I literally had to figure it out. But the key points that I have learned over the years has kept me pushing and moving forward in my journey. And, you know, one day I will have kids of my own, and I won't be out of their life like my parents were out of my life. And I know that I'll be the best father that I could ever be. I just know. I'm already spoiling my nieces and nephews as it is. Like, they're my kids. I see them as my kids. So, yeah. I was in foster care. It kind of felt weird, me actually explaining this, but yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to be vlogging. I'm also going to be doing some reactions. And, yeah. Hopefully, you guys learned something about me. And, yeah.